Hello everyone and welcome to Lost Caverns of Ixalan traditional draft with basically two blue cards and one black card as something to consider as a first pick. There's also the Miner's Guidewing, which is good, but there's the Braided Net, Water Wind Scout and the Dead Weight that I'm mainly looking at here. I have had some blue decks now back to back, but if the best card is the blue card, I should take it. There's also an Inverted Iceberg, which is not the first pick consideration, but it's a good blue card regardless. Now, I don't think I'm gonna take the dead weight. There are decks that don't really have a lot of targets maybe for this thing. I mean, as good as this thing is, it's just that the Waterwind Scout is so it's so good always early and late. I'm gonna take the Scout. I think it is the better card than the rare there. Alright, well, there's a Geological Appraiser. Someone took the rare, so could be anything. Council of Echoes is better when you are like a dedicated deck with a focus on descent, which has cards like Sage of Days. Mostly blue-black, could be blue-green maybe too. But the best card in the pack is a Geological Appraiser. The so-called Bloodbraid Elf, not quite because it doesn't have haste, but it's still the best card here, so let's take it. That's a wild set of uncommons here. Both are very good, dinos. Well, I'll take the 3-drop here. I mean, this is mostly good because it's just so much stats for its cost. 3 mana, 4/3, even by modern limited standards is good size for a 3 mana creature, and the 4 damage that's also symmetrical effect, so keep that in mind, but mostly you care about the size in here. The Colossodactyl, I think I would take in a red-green deck the Colossodactyl over the Raptor, but of course given my earlier picks I should take the red card over a green card. Bat Colony and a Deep Cavern Bat. Now the only blue card is the Sage of Days, which I wouldn't be interested in when I'm drafting blue and red. There's a Burning Sun Cavalry, which would work with the Raptor, but blue-red isn't exactly a dino deck. There's a very nice cave payoff, and it's possible to go for that route. But I think the Deep Cavern Bat is the better option here. I could be black-red here still. I like the bat quite a bit, so I'm gonna take it now. Let's have options open for all these color combinations. Probably red will be one of them. I see some white here. I do like the Panicked Althusar in all kinds of decks. Even in aggressive decks this functions as a way to finish off the opponent if they get to stabilize somehow. This is unblockable, 2 damage per turn. But it's not really a pick this early in the draft, and I have to understand this white signal here. I have some nice white cards, especially the uncommon here. I'm going to take that, and it could be white-red for instance, but this I think is a clear pick in that pack because that wasn't the only pack with decent white cards that got passed to me. I could expect to get more white still in this for the remainder of this pack. Well, white is coming. There is also a good 2-drop from blue. So let's see, the Abuela's Awakening. Return target artifact or non-aura enchantment. Well, mostly artifacts in this set. It will be a 1/1, but if you pay more than 4 mana it will get some counters on it. And it will also fly. Useful with non-creature artifacts specifically, but also you can return artifact creatures. It will be reverted to a 1/1 plus the amount of counters you manage to put there, and it will fly. But I think it's quite clumsy, and I wouldn't mind having the Waterwind Scout in my eventual deck, so I'll take the River Herald Scout here also. Rumbling Rock Slide. Well, it's a little, you know, sometimes ineffective removal, sometimes effective removal, but I think it's the pick over the options, or the options from that pack. And there is a white 3-drop again. Ancestors 8, the Seismic Monstrosaur. I'm not quite sure. There's these 2 blue cards too. I'm not sure if I care about most of this stuff, to be honest. Yeah, these card draw effects might not be what I want to have. I actually take this 3-drop for the reason that if I end up being white red, I think this is like the most reasonable choice out of those options. And in the same, with the same idea, I'll take these just to have a 2-drop here. I might ignore the blue now because even though I got the scout, which is not necessarily that high of a peak, blue does seem to be quite cut. I don't care about the pilgrim when I have this 2-drop option. The uncommon there, by the way, that gives +2/+0 and vigilance to a creature every turn on your turn or not on the opponent's turn is you would have to be very aggressive because it has no defensive purposes. I think it's a card you can play, but it's not really a high pick or anything. Alright, I take another 2-drop because I need them, especially if I'm not going to play the blue and black 2-drops, which seems to be the case here. Another of those 3-mana things, or just the cavalry. I don't like the cavalry too much because it's just a 2/2 so often. Okay, fine, let's take the 3/3 for 3. I don't think it's particularly interesting. Do I have any synergies for this? I can return like the Appraiser. Not much else yet, but I might find something. So, given the other options, which I, in theory could play each of these, I'll take the Hound here, or is it a dog? It's a dog. Altisaur, I would take over the Sandwing, and I think I will take it over the Gem Guard too now. Okay, let's take the uncommon. I don't think I'm gonna have enough caves to actually play that. Alright, so this is the might of the ancestors is what I was talking about. At the beginning of combat on my turn, I get to enhance some creature that's about to attack, and it will gain the vigilance, so I can also have blocking duty afterwards if it doesn't trade in that turn. But I'm not taking it here. I expect this to be in the pack still when it's pick 9 time. Here, I would say there are basically 2 options. I mean, there are options for these colors, which I assume to be white and red, more than one. But there's the Guidewing and there's the Soul Cleaver. I like this more in decks that have a lot of more maybe treasure token generating and map token generating. This can do some very nice work, but this doesn't ask anything. Just a very fantastic 1-drop. So I'll take this over the rare equipment. And let's see if I'm going to start. I think I will cut the blue and the black now because it's quite simple to see maybe now that it is going to be white and red. And here the question is, I don't quite think I need the Vandercliff this early in the draft. I do need more 2-drops, but I will have opportunities to pick them. It's gonna be between the Dawn Runner or the Scampering Surveyor, I think. I like the Surveyor in pretty much any deck, especially if I can get some caves that have utility. But the Dawn Runner is good too. But I have a lot of 3s. I think I'll take the Surveyor actually. I do. Okay, there's a Calamitous Cave in, not for my deck, but it would be nice to sometimes draft the cave deck. I saw a Bat Colony in this draft, and now the cave in. But yeah, the payoffs are mostly uncommon, so it's not that easy to get them. So you have to kind of commit early and hope you get the payoffs, and then pick up a lot of the caves in the meanwhile. It's not easy to draft that deck. My artifact count is so low that the landmark is probably not what I'm looking to play here. I might take the Sandwing. I do like this is at least a 3-power flyer at 6 mana, gains some life too. I could see playing it. This is a fairly weak pack for my deck now. I need something like an upgrade, but I don't seem to get it. There's another Guide Wing, there's a Sunfire Torch, and the Idol of the Deep King, so a couple of 2 damage effects. These are both, by the way, also any target, so you can finish off the opponent with these. Not that I'm that interested in them right now. Also, no shortage of Might of the Ancestors here. I take the Guide Wing, it's just not gonna be a bad pick ever. Well, the best card I think is the Akawali, but not for my colors, so I'll take the Aspirant just to have a 2-drop. Also with double Guide Wing, it's nice to, make them into 2/2s on turn 2 if I get to start with that kind of a curve. I have only 4 red cards here and 10 white, so let's see if the red is gonna be open after all. White is extremely open, and it's not an easy pick now, because while the clay-fired bricks is definitely good, I could just go all in with the Guide Wings, and I actually could take the Ancestor thing, the +2/+0 Vigilance granting thing if I have all these Guide Wings. Yeah, I like this, but maybe I try to be aggressive enough that I don't get to 7 mana. And I don't have that many artifacts to craft even, so let's just take the Guide Wing. And what on earth? I would be happy to have this, and this, considering this is pick 7 of a pack. Now, I of course take the Sunborn, which is the best card by a mile, but I would be happy with any of these. Petrify is decent removal, Sunshot Militia is always decent, especially in aggressive decks when this might, be really a good way to finish off the opponent. This, not a bad flyer, but yeah, let's take the best card. But wow, that was nice. Alright, so here I think it's time to take the Torch, especially because this is a +1/+0 equipment, which can be useful with the Guide Wings. And then I can throw this at some point when I find a target for it. Alright, Torch it is. And okay, I got the Might of the Ancestors turn pick 9 like I guessed, and I will pick it. Might Blade, I don't know. Glorified of Suffering and the Dawn Runner are both decent options, but I'm actually going to maybe just take the Courtyard. Now this is a good card, but I just have these trees. It's maybe not that good, as good as the Envoy, but it's close enough, and this is just a strict upgrade to the deck, especially because I do have the Surveyor here, so I want to have a cave to fetch with that thing. Alright, let's take one more of these, but I don't think I'm gonna play all that, and I won't be playing more than one Might of the Ancestors, which means I'm gonna take the Torch here. I'm not playing multiple Sandwings either, so I'll just take the uncommon. And Familiar Reunion, I could see using it as a sideboard card. Not often, but it's a possibility. Mostly against decks that have a lot of, especially expensive removal, so that the 2 mana hexproof can get you some tempo advantage. Okay, more 1/1 flyers, even 2 options in here. Well, it's gonna be one of them, but which one? The Explorer is no joke, and the Vigilance isn't either. Now this can get some scries though. So the lifelink and scry versus Vigilance and Death Trigger. Well, since I do have 3 of these Guide Wings, maybe I'll have one of these. It's nice when raising, and if I'm gonna end up playing the Might of the Ancestors, and I'm gonna play the Torches, so this might get a power boost. Also from the other Explorers from the Guide Wings, so let's take that one, and I'll just quickly check if there's anything else than this. Probably not. So 2 mana 2/2. Whenever you attack, you may discard a card, and any attacker gets a +1/+1 counter and trample. Now that's nice, but of course discarding a card just to get a counter isn't great. Then again, this has the other ability that when you discard cards, you get to maybe play something from the top of your deck for that turn. So I'm gonna take this. It's also 2 mana 2/2 with a very relevant upside, so, and I need some 2-drops here. So that's what I'm gonna play. Alright, is this gonna be a treasure map deck? I don't think it necessarily wants to. you know, use... this is like a control and mid-range deck card. I'd maybe try to win quickly here. I'm really thinking about the hidden volcano here. Also for the surveyor to fetch. Yeah, I mean, I have all these cheap creatures. I'm actually not taking the treasure map for this deck. Alright, well this I am taking. What else do we have? The Vanguard of the Rose, which I would be taking of course and playing that. But this thing is, I mean, you can forget about the green adventure, it's not a bad one, but I don't think I have a treasure token generating here. I can hit into it with a discover effect. You don't have to pay the cost. But anyway, this is a 2 mana 2/3 that has a very nice attack trigger. You might just draw extra cards or get some selection at least. Because you can even put the card in your graveyard if you don't get to put it to your hand. So yeah, easy pick. And I needed a 2-drop here. What about this in here? So is this like spot where I should consider the quicksand whirlpool, because I have a lot of creatures, not really a lot of interaction. I think it's better than having a third of these torches. I wouldn't mind the cave though either, because it is something the surveyor can get. Well, let's have some removal. I think it's still important to have access to some of that. And how about here? I also don't think I'm gonna main deck the Sandwing anymore. 2-drop. Promising Vein is it's a mana fixing land. I guess it could be relevant with the double casters. I'm not playing 2 Altisars. I don't think I need this thing here. I don't have enough artifacts to make this okay. I can consider running this. I'm gonna take it. I'm not sure if I want to run it, because I do want to have access to these turn 1 planes with all these flyers. And let's maybe add 1 to the... Alright. I'm gonna play all the 1/1 flyers, I think. Sure. Let's see how it goes. Oh, I'm very good with the flyers is gonna be the diamond pickaxe. Also, that can generate me treasures for the adventure in here. Yep. Pickaxe. Miner's Guidewing. So from this pack, I took the Ruin Lurker Bat, didn't I? And then I had also this as an option. Well, let's just, for the memes at this stage, play, 6 1/1 flyers. For sure. Alright. This is not bad with the 1/1 flyers. But maybe I could take this because the equipment isn't either. But it's a craft with an artifact. How many artifacts I'm gonna have? Oh, maybe not that many. Okay, I'll take the 5-drop. And here. Not playing any of this. I'll take the uncommon. And I have many cuts to make here. I guess that's a 2-drop, but it might be cut. Not interested, not interested, not interested. Alright. Funny deck. I would have liked to have a Sunshot Militia. It would be nice to attack with these vigilant creatures and then use the Militia for additional points of damage. But I did not... I don't think I saw more than 1 there. And I took the Sunbone over it. Now, this is 23 creatures. Well, I'm gonna start by cutting at least one of the envoys here. And I'm gonna cut the 1000 Moons Crackshot. I like the other 2-drops more. I'll play the Aspirants because they're a nice way to enhance these flyers here. Do I need to play the Mischievous Pup? There's a lack of synergy for that. I'm gonna cut it. And then how about all the 4s, 5s and 6s? This is potentially also a 3 mana card. I do like both of these as like a curved choppers. Also with the Scampering Surveyor, this is basically my 1 extra mana source for anything that costs more than 4. And these things do. So I wouldn't mind running 2 of these. a kind of a 5 drops. Both are useful in both defensively and offensively. So, and I'm not cutting the 4 drops. This is one of my few removal spells. I think I can just cut one of these envoys still in here. I am supposed to play the Might of the Ancestors, am I not? With these flyers, it seems like I am. 19 creatures, yeah, it's one of my few non-creatures. I should play that. But now it starts to get harder because I don't want to cut any of my 2 drops. I think the torches are nice. It's just one to play, one to equip. You get to deal some extra damage with these things and then throw these away when that's the correct decision. I think I have to cut one of the 5s after all, but which one is it gonna be? This can be quite explosive card because this target creature gets +2/+0. So while you can target the Gold Fury Strider itself, you can also target, your flyers, for instance. So when you play this, you might have actually enough things to tap so that you can give like a +4/+0 to a flyer of yours. And I mean, this deck specifically has the 6 of these flyers in here, so it might be more useful than the Altisor. I think I'm cutting the Altisor for now, and then I have to consider the possibility of running 16 lands, which doesn't sound so bad of an idea considering that. Well, I do have 5 cards that require at least 4 mana. This can be played at 3. But I have the Diamond Pickaxe, which is almost just a mana source, because I can easily attack with the 6 flyers, or even if these are like 2 3s, this makes them into a 3/4 early in the game. Probably I can attack profitably and get the treasure for extra mana. I do think this is a 16 land deck. I can even use this in a pinch to try to get some lands. I have one of these 1-drops, then I play this on turn 2, I attack, I discard. Well, maybe not on turn 2, that would, because I have already played my land drop, but on turn 3 then I can play this, or this is already on the battlefield. Then I can discard a non-land, and maybe I exile a land from the top of my library, and that is a bit unreliable way, but still a way to get more land. So 16 is fine. I have a very low curve, of course, with all these 1-drops. I do need 1 red and 1 white source. It's pretty even. Well, it's not actually that even. 15 white and 9 red, but it's still some early red here that I might need, and a double caster here. So I need to have enough ways to get them both. So the question is, am I gonna play the Promising Vein, which is going to fix my mana, but it's a slow way to do it. Anyway, I'm not gonna. The spells are fine. I will play these spells in the main deck. Then I will take the suggestion here and cut at least 1. And now, question is, am I gonna change these? I actually do prefer running 8 planes in this deck, because I want to have a reasonable chance for a turn 1 play. I have 6 of these things. So now if I would play a Promising Vein, I would actually just cut a mountain to do that. Yeah, probably not worth it. With 7 bread sources, I'm still going to find the second one at some point, given also that Diamond Pickaxe can be the one that gives me the second red. Server can get it. If I have like a 3 plains, 1 mountain, this acts as my second red source as well for the geological appraiser. Okay, I think this is the mana base. Basically 9/7, a little bit, not as good I usually want to, but when you play 16 lands, you will have some riskier mana bases in terms of the colored sources, getting both of them. But yeah, this is the deck. Well, talk about a nice starting hand, both colors, 1-drop, 2-drop. It's not that hard with this deck to get a 1-drop, 2-drop start. But which 2-drop is it gonna be? Because this can start getting me value, and I'm on the play even, so this is, I mean, unless the opponent has the blue 2-mana 3/3, this attack will be quite valuable. So I'm going to, and you know, even if they do have it, I can use the Aspirant to make this into a 3/4. So yeah, absolutely I should play this. If I reveal creatures that cost at most 3, I can just put it in my hand. And look at this, they actually had it. But sadly I can't do both white spells here, but I'm still happy I drew a third land that quickly. So here, Kellan can still attack. Do I hit a creature? Yes. So I'm not gonna put that in my graveyard. That will be on top of my deck. Is that a look at or a reveal? No, it's a reveal. So they know it's coming. But it's gonna be good with the Kellan and well, even with the Aspirant actually. You know, all of these become relevant attackers if they already aren't. They have a 3 blue here, okay. They're gonna play a tapping effect, yeah, Lodestone Needle on the Kellan. Which is fine, because I can now still do this and pump the Aspirant, so they take 4 or trade with my 1/2. Both outcomes I like. Maybe they have the 1 mana 1/2 that gives -2/-0, but they don't. This will untap at some point. It has stun counters on it. This gives 2 stun counters, right? Yeah, but they played it on my upkeep, so this is actually still having the 2. Fungal Fortitude. Well, they mill that. Torch. I actually don't need to even throw this right now. I can do it later on. I'll just do the maximum damage now. By this, I'll just play everything here. Torch on here, and I will deal 4 damage to them. Oh man, this is decline this for now. They even might have a flyer I'd try to kill. This seems like a little even unfair, but they might have some good stuff here, of course. That's way too slow. They are not gonna get to 6 mana before they're dead unless they have like a mass removal. And there is the Descent, you know, X thing. Okay, I take 3 from that guy. Aspirant, well, I'm keeping playing these things. Give a counter here. Attack for a 6. They go to 4. Not gonna do this yet. I could have thrown it to the face, in which case they would have gone to 3, but I think it's still not necessary. This deck might even actually play 2 of these if I picked a second one earlier, but I think 1 is still, you know, maybe the reasonable count. But I do have so many creatures that I could see, you know, benefiting from more than one of these. Might of the Ancestors. Alright, so blue, black it is. They have the 3/3s, but they don't block flyers. They can block the Aspirants and some of the 2-drops, but I have a means to enhance their power, 3 equipment, and the Might of the Ancestors. I don't think there's anything here. I'm not playing the family reunion here. This is fine. Okay. Again, this good start. Time for a life linker. Scout being a 1-2. Well, let's see. Now this thing doesn't have the, you know, the Explorer trigger, so if they kill it, then I just lose it. But let's see if they have a dead weight or not. Visage of Dread. So I discard an artifact or a creature. Well, it's going to be the Minor Skywing, probably. It's not actually. Wow. That's... not what I expected to see. No point attacking with the 1-2, they would block anyway. I guess they have a blocker on it. Well, I will get to 6 mana at some point, so I can exile even untapped creatures. Yeah, they do have a blocker for it, but I mean, it's only gonna trade with the bat. Unless they can make it into a 3-3, which they do. Alright, so I have to wait until I get some, for example, that thing. Well, let's go with an... not going to crack it. Okay, trading here is fine for me. They are closer to Descent 4 now, of course. But... and at that point this thing will fly. Well, they're at Descent 1 right now, but... it's a 2 toughness creature, so I can throw the torch on it if I need to. Okay, well that's gonna make them Descent 4 quite easily. Well, I guess they can also mill all 3, but they would have to be permanent spells or lands. Okay, my start isn't quite as good as in the previous game. But I have good... should I... I mean, I have good draws, maybe. Anyway, I could move this on the Aspirant, forcing the trade on the Sage of Days, but it doesn't really make a sense. They would probably trade, especially because this would go to graveyard and this would fly immediately. I can choose to... you know, move it here, but I'm not even gonna block this guy. So... no, it was... the land wasn't so bad because I want to have access to 6. Let's see if they have a land drop. They did mill 2, but you have to always mill at least 2 here. Inverted Iceberg, mill and draw a card. Okay, so now they have Descent 4. No, they don't actually. This is an instant, not a permanent, but... so if they attack there, I'm gonna take it, and now I have the option to move around the... equipment. Oh man, still... alright, I think I'm not gonna move around it because I wanna leave 6 mana up. Actually, what I can do, I can just do this now because I have the 6th land for the next turn anyway. I have 1 double red card in the deck, but I'm more likely to draw more red sources before that anyway. So let's do this pre-combat. Who knows what I'm gonna get here? Probably a 1-1, but... oh, or maybe something a lot better than that. Wow, this is now like an MVP here. Alright, so they're gonna tap down with a needle or something, but thanks to getting the Might of the Ancestors, I can still attack for 3. They can jump block, it's their might. They have then the Descent 4, but they even didn't choose to do that. Okay, now they can play the thing, which I can just kill by throwing the torch. This crafts with 2 creatures, which they don't have in the graveyard, but they can of course craft from the battlefield too. But you know, the actual point is that yeah, they can do some exploring this with this. But yeah, I mean, the 5/4 ground guy isn't gonna matter here too much. Maybe. Okay, so they go with the exploring thing. They chose to. They didn't have an artifact in their graveyard, so they exiled the Visage of Dread. But now they're gonna continuously explore each turn for very cheap. So I do need to... Yeah, they have more spells than I, and more good stuff on the battlefield too. This Hana's Tidebringer though, counter up to one target activated or triggered ability, and then, okay. Well, they milled that, so I don't have to worry about that. Now they will be just blocking the aspirant, no matter what I do. So is that even something I need to offer here? I mean, they already have descent for 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe trading a 1-2 with either of these is going to be good enough. I don't need to move the torch around because the +1/+0 doesn't matter, and I'm not going to use it on the Sage of Days. So let's trade here. I need to try to win in the air now. I guess I'm keeping the planes in my hand in case they have the exile a card from hand effect. I can still play this for 3 if there's like a valid target for it that I care about killing. Well, that's a heck of a good card against my deck. I would need 8 mana to exile it with the Whirlpool. It's Ward 2. I need now something. I thought these flyers would be doing it, but they can just keep exploring here. But I guess I just need to go to 8 mana. I mean, I can make this into a 4-1, but it's not helping. 4-1 is not good enough. I need to draw 2 more lands, or maybe make this somehow tapped, but I don't think they're ever gonna tap that. Alright. Yep. I can attack and throw the torch on this, but of course they just take 2 in that case and not block. And it wouldn't even help actually. No, it would actually. Yeah, this would have 2 damage and then this would still have 3 power, but well, it won't help. Oof. I liked my chances before the Pilgrim came, because what they have going on is this is a cantripping thing, and this thing becomes a 6/6 at some point. This gives them an explore every turn. So they can make this very big. I just need to find Join the Dead as well. They have all these cards in hand. So I need to go to 6 mana here somehow. I mean 8 mana somehow. I could... No, I won't be. I could block, yes, but it would make no sense. Well... They even have mana up, so they have some kind of counter spell or something. I could... they have too much... They have too much life for it to make any sense to attack now here. Force damage. It does not make sense. So let's see what's their end of turn play, or is there any? Now I have to of course play my lands so that I will have this 8 mana. So if they do happen to have a I exile card thing. Top or bottom? Well, that goes to bottom. So that was the 4 mana. I mean, if I can exile this, they can still have this as a 4/3 flyer if they explore into it. They would need an extra mana, but they're gonna draw lands. And they have the removal. Yeah, the amount of spells they have compared to how many I have is just a pretty... There's a pretty huge difference. And here I'm still actually hoping to draw a land because the Hoverstone Pilgrim is crazy good here. If I had an upgrade in the deck, that would be a 4 mana way to get rid of this, but I don't have an upgrade. Well, there's not much else to do than do this. Yep. I drew the lands. I need to now try to make this work. If they can somehow save it, then not much I can do about it. Alright, they will kill the other one, so I'm gonna actually boost the non-life linking one, because I want them to actually kill the Explorer trigger here, rather than the thing that doesn't have an Explorer trigger. Aspirant, well, I'm actually choosing it. Make this even into bigger one. I get the scry, yeah, I kind of wasted a scry here, but I do think that giving a counter here, putting a torch there. Now if they have a removal for it, that will be horrible. Now let's see if they have a land. Oh, they actually did not. So now I can torch this thing away. Alright, so there is a chance. I just wonder what... I mean, they have 4 spells in their hand, none of which is gonna do anything here. Wow. Also gaining a hefty amount of life, and I'm getting a scry because I do throw away the torch now. Imagine if they had a land drop and then they explored into a spell and that this is 3 toughness and... Oh, that's gonna be good as well. I mean, they need to kill this or they'll just lose the game. I mean, either kill or have a... Okay, that's a way to delay the inevitable, but... I am... Oh, suddenly I have a chance. I thought I was in a big trouble when they got the Pilgrim, but I guess I got lucky by getting myself to, what, 8 lands, which usually is not what you're hoping to get. So now what I can do, I can force a trade here. I guess I'll force it regardless. I mean, they're not gonna take 3 here, because I could tap this Strider and this thing to give it a +2/+0, but I'm gonna get... I guess they can choose to not block and go to 1, but I don't think it's gonna happen, because I want to have the 3/5 to block. I want the 3/5 to be blocking here. Scry that, that's a useful scry. Yeah, the scry here is gonna help quite nicely. Well, it helped with this one draw, but I mean, it could mean a big... It's a big difference drawing a land on the next turn and potentially not drawing a land. Now, are they going to... First of all, they can't just tap out, because then it's a win. I can just make this into a 5 power flyer. This has trample, so I can give this +2/+0 as well. And potentially pump it even more if I draw a non-land thing. So they can't do something like make this iceberg into the 6/6. They would be tapped out. Yet that's what they do. Do they have a 1 mana effect? No, they just lose then. None of those have reach. I just win with this and game is over. Okay, I would be interested in knowing what they had in their hand. Because this play they did was a losing play. So whatever they had here, well, I suppose the simple answer is that there was no answer at all to this flyer, of course. They would have played that. But if they left like mana up, I maybe would have needed to No, not really though, because of course I have to go for the win if it's a possibility and make them use their interaction, and then I can try to win with the Strider and this thing on a later turn. The thing is, I was at over 20 life, so I wasn't really dying anytime soon. Okay, that was a lot more... I mean, it doesn't seem like it was a close game, but it was basically a matter of them stabilizing and then easily beating my life total, making it go to 0. So it was a lot closer game for sure than the first one. Okay, great to be on the play, but hey, what is this? No 1-drop. Well, I get to play the axe, this thing. This is still pretty sweet. Of course, my deck is mostly 1 and 2 drops, so it's not a surprise that I have a quick start. Opponent did mulligan there, so let's see how that affects the start. What is this sleeve? Very colorful. So I think I'll just take the aspirant here. Have a nice 2-3 which doesn't get killed by a dead weight. This would get. And now I can equip. And oh, that has death touch. Well, what does that mean in practice? I'm gonna trade with it. And there's no point getting the treasure because I'm gonna use it for this thing anyway. So I just better trade with it. Maybe they don't block, but I think they're gonna block. Okay, they chose to do that, but this is a good spot for me to play the tapped land. Had I equipped it, I think they would have blocked in that case, but also, you know, I would have needed to play an untapped land. Okay, so they have no main deck, Hoverstone Pilgrim. Is this another blue-black deck? Is this the same opponent? I don't think it is. Alright, anyhow. Well, there's no spell for me to play right now. I'm going to equip this thing right now, of course. Otherwise the 2-3 just is gonna block. I think the marionette is now going to block. I'm not gonna discard anything. I wanna play my land and I can use the mana here to equip on here, and I don't need to use my treasure for that thing either. So they can bring back stuff like the Hoverstone Pilgrim if they want to. Or they can bring that thing back. So I guess I'm gonna exile it because I have the mana and the treasure to do that. And even another treasure coming from here. So, bye-bye Spiketail thing, and I can even use the treasure post-combat to play the Guidewing. Not gonna discard anything, of course. Yep, the diamond pickaxe. I really like it. Of course, you have to play it mostly in decks like this. Hey, they are like a reanimator deck. Alright, anyway, this is the first turn I can actually ditch a planes to get maybe something better. And the Guidewing gets the counter there. Not gonna pre-combat this thing, even though by doing this pre-combat I would deal more damage, but like I said, it doesn't make any sense. Because I might need my mana for other stuff. This makes the Guidewing get a counter. Could give it to the Inti too, but I'd rather have my flyer have it. And then I can play the Ruinlurker Bat this turn. And of course I will also play this, sacking the treasure, so again the pickaxe doing some wonderful work here. And I get to scry, and I'm gonna take the flyer here. They can get there, you know. Oh, it went to exile, so this thing is actually not... Alright. This gives me a explore. This would become a 2-2 lifelinker. Because I know it's a spell. But anyway, yeah, this is in exile, so they can't get back anything that's gonna matter in this board state, really. Maybe the Death Toucher to block the Strider, but even this thing has a trample. So yeah, do I want to have this lifelinker here? No, I mean as a 2-2, I don't. I'm gonna do this, and we'll see what happens next. They're gonna bring back the... Oh, I forgot they have the Pilgrim now. Doesn't matter too much though, because I can attack for quite a bunch. I'm not going to discard anything now. This requires discarding a card. So what I'm doing is... Yeah, I understand them conceding because there's too many attackers that they can't even profitably... I mean, they can block one, but none of my guys die. Idea here was that... Well, no, I can't... Actually, that wasn't exactly right, but I can make them So the best attack I can make here is just to first play the Guide Wing. Well, no, that's not that. Well, I could have attacked for 5 anyhow. That's the point here. But I guess I didn't have that amazing of an attack. Because I can only make this into 5 power creature or this into 5 power creature because I have a Guide Wing, and the axe I can tap, but that's only 3 things I can tap. I would need 4 things to pump 2 different targets. And it's a sorcery speed activation, so I can't utilize the treasure token I get by attacking. But yes, it was still, I could deal 5 to them, and I assume they didn't have any further interaction. Now, another opponent with the annoying 2/5. I'm actually thinking about the Altisor here. Now they do have a removal for it, the Join the Dead deals with it even without Descent. But it is one way to keep dealing damage once they have stabilized. Could play the Reunion to counter one of the removal spells, but I only saw this one Join the Dead. I don't care about the Edict, I have a lot of cheap things to sack. I think I can make it so that the Envoy of Okinek Ahau is not gonna be played, and I'll play the Altisor here. Yeah, that's my sideboarding. Yeah, that's good. I can't play a turn 1 Guidewing, but I do have the white source here anyway, so I can play a turn 2 Guidewing and a Torch. Maybe if I draw planes, both flyers. And then of course I have the Skyclave thing. Okay, yeah, my hand is good. I'm just saying that much. I'd rather play the Bat first if they have removal. I don't want to miss out on the Explore if it is possible. So let's do this and the Torch now. Next turn, well, depends on what they do, of course. I assume, okay, let's see if they're gonna reanimate that thing. Play the 2/3 now. Well, in the meanwhile, I would be getting some lifelink damage, but no reanimator. Here I'm gonna just play the Raptor. So let's see what happens. They might have the -5/-5, and they do, and they choose to kill that. Well, my Raptor is gonna be happening in that case. Okay, that's gonna make me discard. Well, it's gonna have to be the Kabarok, the Sunbone. I can't really see them being able to allow me to. Well, maybe if they have removal spell, then it's not that. And I think, okay, well, that was a good one for them for sure. I don't need this Scampering Surveyor yet. I'm gonna do just this, so that I can keep attacking on the next turn in the air. But yeah, that was definitely a good turn when they got both things dealt with. And wow, that's a little harsh now that they had also that. They had also that in there. Well, I mean, I guess this is a 5-power attacker with the Might of the Ancestors, so let's see how they're gonna block that. Okay, this was a harsh one. Alright, so that is going to be a problem later in the game. They can make a... Okay, I think they got what they needed here to have a chance. Now, that said, if this dies, they sadly get to bring it back with the Soul Coil Viper, but I guess that means they can't bring this thing back. Because with the Aspirant, I can make this into a 2/2, then it will be a 3/2, and then it will be a 5/2. And I have mana to do all that. I'm gonna try that. So at least they have to use this thing on that effect. And I will play the Runelurker Bat here, of course, because this is gonna be exploring. I built an attacker. Decline this. There's even no target for it. I need the 5th power. Okay, they chose to not even block there. In that case, so be it. So they have a way to enhance this guy somehow? Okay. Okay. Hard mode engaged. I mean, that's just perfect against my deck. I can't beat this card. I can't play in a way to avoid getting beat by that thing. Yep. And they are at a little bit too much life now to actually... I can't threaten them. I really can't. I don't care about my graveyard, so at least there is that. They can put stuff on bottom of my deck. But now they can just get the... Yeah, the fact they didn't need to block with this and then, you know, just exiled everything I had. Well, that's a very good sideboard card. That thing has indestructible currently, so I'm not blocking it. I need my... I don't even know what I can draw here. Yep, that's that. That's 5 damage. Not gonna be enough. I guess it's enough with the torch, but... They wouldn't even need to take the damage there. I don't think I'm gonna cast this. I guess I would need to kill the Souls of the Lost, and then I need to get the exile creature effect. Sure, let's do this, kill this, because it just keeps growing in size, and it actually... Well, they can bring it back with the Viper. Okay, it didn't have the finality counter that this thing has. Well, the opponent had the perfect draw, what they needed to make it so that I have literally no chance here. You know, starting with the turn 4, when they were able to make me discard my Kabarok the Sunbone, and also they made me sack my 4-3 on the same turn. That was like the first good thing, and then on the next turn they played a 2-5 to keep my flyers at bay. That's too much for me to handle, and now they have the double soul coil Viper draw again with the things they can bring back, so it's just no chance for me. I mean, it's not. There's no point even using the hidden volcano. It's not gonna discover 4 into anything that's gonna allow me to win here. Okay, so they do have the -2, -2 to every creature. So I think the family reunion could save some of my stuff. I'm gonna play it just for that reason. And the Dawn Runner isn't gonna be played. I'm gonna play the 3-3, which isn't gonna die to that thing. I still need to cut something. The torches, well, they have been kinda good, but there's actually no target for them, so I could see not playing the torches at all. And they don't even add toughness, so it doesn't help against the mass removal. I could play another envoy here. I could play the Sandwing, but even the 3 power isn't going to matter too much. So what's my angle here? I guess I just need them to not draw the Eclipse. And then I need to deal with the 2-5 flyer is really messing up with my stuff. I don't think this is the answer. I also need to be wary of their... You know, they have a fast way to bring these 5-6s with the reanimating strategy they have going on, so I might even play something like this Thousand Moons crack shot to tap down their blockers, make it harder for them to leave blockers. I'm actually doing that. It's not the greatest, it costs 3 mana to do that, but I think the torches were quite bad enough here in this matchup. It basically kills no or only very few things there. Okay, well, it's time to have a bad starting hand. Let's mulligan to 6 here, and this is not a bad starting hand if if they don't make me discard the Sunbone or kill it or something. But this is a very good 2, 3, 4 curve. Maybe not the 4 drop if I don't draw the lands, but that means I draw a lot of spells. Kellan on turn 2 is really good regardless. They have it. But I have also a good cover regardless. But this was a perfect answer to Kellan because, you know, deadweight doesn't kill it, and this attack trigger happens even if they have a 0, if it has 0 toughness. But this is gonna give me the Sunbone on the next turn. And then of course I would need to attack with this to get any value, but maybe I can. The inverted iceberg is just a slow thing that doesn't immediately affect anything here. So I'm totally, of course, in the game in here. They will make that into a 2, 3. Oh, Appraiser. But I'm not playing it right now. I'm gonna play the Sunbone first. There's just no way they can suddenly make this into a larger thing. Did they miss the land drop? Okay, they did, I think. Anyway, no reason to do anything than just attack here for now. They take 5. Yeah, if they miss land drops, they can't really win. Because now they need to swamp and kill this with the -5, -5. And even that doesn't, you know, prevent them from... Yeah, now I can do a lot of stuff. Pickaxe would be nice, because that means this will survive. A double block. I'm gonna try that. And I have things to tap. This Vigilant thing, the treasure, the equipment. There's more things than I need. Create a treasure token, then discover. Then tap 2 things. So do I need the mana? I don't need the mana. So I can put the axe down and tap it. Of course, it's no cost. And I don't need the mana here. Can I discover in something that... No. Aspirant? Sure. So now I can even make them... The Guidewing could be bigger, or I could make this into a... So that double blocking doesn't kill this one either. Okay, I'm actually doing this. So double blocking is bad everywhere. Yep. Now the -2/-2 on everything won't work, even if they hit the swamp now. Alright, so this is the way to beat. Of course, I mostly had no trouble because they did miss their 3rd land drop. But then again, I mulliganed to 6, so neither of us had the perfecties. But my hand was, of course, very good. Anyway, despite, you know, they were able to deal with this using the edict effect, but of course my continuation was still very strong. Again on the play, well, not the greatest hand, but with the Appraiser, this is basically still a 3 spell hand. They mulliganed also. And I have the double red for that thing, and of course a lot of my draws allow me to have action on turn 3, for instance. That's that. Well, that's not the draw that allows me to have action on turn 3. Just don't get 2 more lands when keeping a 5-lander. That's always annoying. Alright, so this is slow thing, but... Alright. All I care about is to have something to do on turn 3, and this is enough for me. Because I can do double things on the next turn. And they don't have double blue, so this won't be countered. Although there is that 3 mana uncommon with a taxing counter, but they didn't leave mana up, so... Okay, race is on. Very aggressive blue-red deck. Well, blue-red is an aggressive archetype here. Alright, that's not a bad one to have as a backup, but let's see what do I get with this sweet thing. Oh, the Cabaroctis Unborn went away, but this int is... Oh, not bad at all. I wonder if I'm supposed to discard a land just for... to get a counter. I actually do. I can't use the card I exile here. Of course, because I have played my land and can't cast a spell with 0. Okay, minus Guidewing went away, but I will draw something else on the next turn. And this allows me to keep the race on. I will use the Guidewing probably to block now. They're gonna attack for 6. I have to be careful about things. I'm not blocking with the Inti, because this thing works whenever you attack with any creature. It doesn't have to attack even themselves, and I have the Rumbling Rock Slide I can use, although I wouldn't want to tap out before combat if I have the Inti active or triggered ability up. Dowsing Dagger, so +1/+0 to something. They have now 3 artifacts. This will... That's perfect. This will transform, and they have the mana, of course, now too. Well, they would have had it regardless, but... I mean, the opponent did mulligan, but the starting hand they had is amazing. Now they killed the Inti here. They kill the Inti here, and then I will be... I'm just blocking here up. There's not really much point. Not to block. The aspirant gets to explore. I mean, I could see the raising here still. With a 3-2 on the ground, but they will... I mean, I'll take 5 in that case. Then I will attack back with 5 or... But they have this thing as well. Okay, let's just keep the board somehow clear here. Lifelinker is good enough to me. I wonder if I'm supposed to... Well, no, this is now... They have only 1 artifact, so this is only gonna give +1 and +0. And it costs a lot of mana, so I don't care about that. Do they have a land? Yes, they can make this into a 6/6, so I need a land drop to kill the 6/6. Without that... Oh, it's gonna be bad. This is not the worst, because I can gain life here. But I need to take the... I assume they're gonna tap the aspirant with the attack trigger, so I can't jump block it for easy. Although, I mean, then this 3/4 can block the 2/2, so maybe I can jump block with the 1/2. Okay, now they're gonna tap the 1/2. Okay, well, they can also do that, by the way. Okay, let's prevent 6 damage here. Flyer, but this is a sorcery speed activation, isn't it? Yeah, I do need the 6th land, but in the meanwhile I'm getting some life here, hopefully. Hopefully they don't have interaction here. This is a sorcery activation, so no, don't say you. I still am in a good shape if I draw the 6th land. Can't even be a tapped one. But yeah, they are now top decking. Now the fact I discarded a land... Well, I still got the relevant counter on the flyer there. Okay, what's this? Excuse me. Fine, I need the land. I need the land right now. That's a land, but with a delay, because I don't have the 4 mana for this. Come on, what's happened to my throat? Nice draw. Nice draw. I mean, had I drawn the land there, killed the 6/6 at while at 7 life, this would have been so different. And now my throat is somehow malfunctioning. Man, the opponent got lucky. I'm annoyed. This was a top deck. Fine. I'll have the 3/3 instead of the 3/5 there. And I guess that's fine. Otherwise... yeah, that's fine otherwise. But yeah, they had a very, very good draw. They didn't really have any blanks there and so on. Okay. No one drop creature, but this is of course a fantastic curve with the... I can even play the Torch on turn 1 and Torch on turn 1. I mean, this 2, this 3. Yeah, let's see if this is gonna... Well, it's a blue-red deck, so unlikely to... Well, they need an upgrade to kill this on turn 2. Can still happen, of course. Okay, and now... Well, let's see if they have the upgrade or not. If they have a 3/3 blocker, I have the Aspirant for it. Anyway, but I hope it's not an upgrade. It is like the one of the few things that can prevent the trigger from happening. It could be a 2 mana bounce from blue, but then they would have to bounce it before I attack to prevent the trigger, and then if they bounce an untapped creature, they won't even get the treasure token. No upgrade then. Okay. That's slow start. Not the goblins this time, and let's first see what I'm getting here, or if okay. I need the land actually to have the rock slide up. Yeah, I'm gonna decline this. I wouldn't mind drawing a land. That also allows me to... Well, mostly I can have the rock slide if I need to have it. I don't think I need to deal with their 3-drop. But it's... Let's keep the option open here. Then I can ditch any lands if I get to reveal stuff with this thing. Minecart doesn't do anything by itself. So... If I reveal a 2-drop, I want to play both the Aspirant and that. So I'm not gonna... I might miss 1 damage with the Torch now, but it's worth it in my opinion. Okay, that I'm gonna put in my graveyard. So I will be now playing this on the Ixalan, and I'm gonna give the Torch to... doesn't really matter. I won't be giving it to the Aspirant because they might have this 3/3 as a blocker when they have a creature. 3/3 will trade with the Raptor, so let's give it to the Ixalan as well. Of course I can move it around. But now if they play a creature and I kill it, they can of course crew in response. So they will have a 3/3 blocker anyway. Although I might actually throw away my Aspirant in that case. I mean, attack with it regardless. If they have only 1 blocker and choose to... Okay, Shahili is good. But it's also gonna... Oh, they want to have a... They want to have a treasure token. Well, they won't have any blocker now. I mean, they can have that, but it's... I'm not even convinced I need to kill this guy. I mean, I play my Surveyor here. They can make token copies of another target creature you counter. Yeah, it's like the reflection of Kiki Jiki's, the transformed version. But it costs 2 mana. They're gonna go down to a pretty low life total. They might jump block, but that's fine. I don't need to do anything to this thing pre-combat, no. Do I wanna draw land? Well, I'm gonna put it to graveyard regardless because I don't. I might be playing this. Okay, decline to this thing and they take either 8 damage or a jump block. Both are fine options to me. Now I might just exile this. This is a scenario where they have a tapped creature. And then they don't have this mana up, this ability up. I'm actually going to do. I kind of changed my plans here. I wanted to use this thing while I can for 3 mana. Though this is a 2/2. Why did I not throw the torch there? I have no idea. I should have thrown the torch there and then play the surveyor. That's the absolutely correct play. I actually somehow realized that I can throw the torch on the 1/3, but I forgot the existence of the tapped creature. Of course they have a cliff there, but okay, so how does this work? I could rock slide it, but then they get to do the minecart thing anyway. So it doesn't make any sense. I mean, they can respond by crewing and then they still have the 3/3. So I'm gonna just have an honest trade here. And I of course attack with the aspirant because they have only 1 blocker. They can't even block the aspirant here. They go to 2 now. Which means that, okay, yeah, put that into my graveyard. A lot of lands there. A lot of lands. Now, I can throw this torch to their face. And then they would be at 5. Okay, they crew that. Now that changes things even more. I mean, if they go to 5, this will deal 3, this will deal 1. Will they go to 1 in that case? They are gonna block the 4/3. I wonder why they didn't block with the cliff thing, because they would get another, board. They would get more board presence there. But I think it's not worth throwing the torch right now. They will block the raptor, and I immediately clicked the wrong button. But I don't think it's even going to matter that much. It would be nice to play the flyer now that they're at 1, but because I was supposed to deal. Yeah, I mean, the torch would have been lethal on the next turn, but I thought I misclicked. I'm gonna play this more expensive card regardless now. And, they still need to deal with 3 attackers, all of which are lethal, and then they need to deal with this. And I can kill a blocker. So, I think I'm going to. Yeah, this is not gonna be enough now. They are tapped out, so this is all safe now. Unless I accidentally killed the wrong one, but yeah. I could have played that so much better. They would have been at 2 life, and I would have had an active torch, which I could have thrown to their face, had I not done the misclick on the previous turn. Okay. They had a lot slower start. Sunshot Militia. Do I want to change anything? So I decided to not have these 5 drops at all. I don't like them because they have these tap effects also, so they are a bit of a liability in that sense. Now, a couple of these to block their 2/2s. I like all the stuff I have here. Even the Might of the Ancestors, even though it's an aggressive matchup, I think it's still good enough with my flyers, especially with the life linking thing here. I guess I could choose not to play the Scampering Surveyor, because I don't have the 5 drops now anymore. I could get like a cave, which I can then, sack to discover if I get the 6th mana land again also. What would be my play if a replacement if I cut the Scampering Surveyor? It wouldn't be either of the 5 drops because this is the reason to. I mean, without this, I wouldn't want to play them as much. Now, I think the Surveyor getting me a cave is still good enough. 3-2 trades with something, cave gets me something. I don't really think I'm gonna play something like a family reunion. It's a possibility for sure, but I'm not sure if it's the. I mean, I guess I could play a non-creature instead of a creature in this deck. And in a very tight race, this mass pump effect could matter. I just expect our creatures to trade a lot, and this is like an expensive way to give a hexproof to a creature. I'm gonna play the Surveyor. I just hope they don't start with the hasty goblins like in the game 1 they had those. In game 2 they had very slow start, but now they will also be on the play. So I think I need also have my 1-drop flyers, at least one of them. And there it is. No red mana for the diamond pickaxe, but I'm keeping this. Opponent did mulligan, but they did mulligan in the game 1 too, and they still drew the very good curve here. Or there. So Guidewing. No, well, I can play a tapped land on turn 2. Ideally, I draw a mountain. Okay, that's a good one too. So let's start with the life linking flyer. They kept 6, alright. Okay, that's probably gonna find something. They have so many artifacts and pirates that it would be very surprising if they didn't. And now that they are thinking for this long, that means they have at least 2 to choose from. This triggers at the beginning of my end step, so if I block on their turn, I don't get the Scry 1. Now if I'm very lucky, I draw a mountain right now, play the Guidewing and the axe. Okay, they have a really tough choice there. Oh, what the? They actually got nothing. Why would they think it for so long? Maybe they also are lacking red land, producing land. Maybe they had like 4 mountains there and now they need a mountain. Okay, so they might have the -2, -0 thing. And I have a blocker for the 2-1 on the next turn. I think even though I would get an Explorer, I think it's not worth it right now. Okay, they have nothing. They could have a counter target creature spell for 2 mana, and this wouldn't be countered. So actually, I'm tempted to play this and give this thing +2/+0. But then missing land drops means that I'm already kind of a favorite to win here. Next turn it's gonna be the Scampering Surveyor, so I suppose if they counter something, I'd rather them counter the Envoy than this. And I don't actually expect them to run the counter spell, but we'll see right now. No counter spell there, okay. So yeah, this is now, they did mulligan to 6 and didn't get the start they needed here. Now I'm huge favorite right now. I have way too dominating board, and the stuff I have waiting in my hand is all relevant stuff. This mostly relevant because it gets me the red source for the axe. Yeah, I think this might be a game over and match over, and I might be getting back to the 3-0 trophy train. I had a couple of 2-1s after like how many drafts where I did not lose a match. Alright, let's focus on the game at hand. I do think the Surveyor is the play this turn, so I don't need to do anything pre-combat. Let's just attack and see what they do. Doesn't seem like they have anything that they can cast. So I suppose they mulligan to a 6 card hand that had an island staunch crewmate, and then they just need to get something better, which they are not getting. And if this resolves, it's gonna be... I don't think there's any sequence of draws that can help them. given what I have in my hand. Yeah. I have even the torch in here. But I can only play one red spell here. So I can play the ancestor thing and then play and equip the torch. Yeah, I guess I'll do that. I also have the Guidewing though. I mean, I'm still winning here. I suppose I play the Guidewing instead. So let's make them double block to have a good block. And then just do the Guidewing post combat or something. It barely matters here. They're gonna double block the 3/3 and they lose the scout, and I'll play 2 things post combat. Well, I've had these games too, so it's like a shame that this very tight matchup is having this kind of a conclusion. But of course, it is part of especially best of 3 magic, because there's no starting hand algorithm, so the amount of mulligans and risky keeps is significantly higher in best of 3 than in the best of 1 events. I'll pause until they do something. And they choose to double block the 3/3, which is the only reasonable thing they have here. They go down to 6, lose the 2/3, and now I can just do this, use the treasure to cast this and equip it around. Lifelinker might get it. No, it's gonna be one of the explorer things. I get to scry into that, which is totally fine draw. I can actually play both my creatures. I mean, this creature and the enchantment on the next turn, and let's see if they ever got the 3rd land. Even if they did, it's way too late. There's no mass removal effect that would work for these colors. There is the black one that I got hit by earlier in the event, but even that is -2 to everything, so my scampering server would survive. And I would still win with this dealing 4 and this torch, dealing 2, and of course I have this thing, so yeah, even if this was like a swamp situation, there's no card that would allow them to win. But again, I will pause the recording until something happens. And nothing seems to happen. This is the final timeout, so now it goes to my turn, and well, I suppose I need to play here some stuff because they do have mana up. So let's do this into sacrifice the torch so they don't have the opportunity to block. So I should, if they have no spells, this is gonna automatically proceed to damage, and that's what happened. Otherwise the blocking phase would have, or declare blocker's step, which it is officially called, is they would have gotten a time, a waiting period there to decide who they block. Alright, that was it. Okay, unsurprisingly, the deck with all these flyers and ways to pump them, and that was relevant here. I had opponents who were able to put a good fight for sure, but I think the Might of the Ancestors has found a deck where it does something. Well, I think you don't have to have like 6 1-drop flyers to make it do something, but you will have to have like a pretty low mana curve. You have to be the player who is absolutely going to want to attack, not block. And the Quicksand Whirlpool, I guess I needed this in one of the games, but if this was an upgrade, the deck would be automatically a lot better one. And well, I actually never drew this thing. I don't think I ever drew this thing. Not that it matters. It's a card that is good with the equipment and the Might of the Ancestors, but not really the main focus of the deck. The main focus was, of course, all these flyers and some of the good stuff like the Scabarok, the Sunbone, and the Upriser, although I don't think I really discovered that many times from these, but still they are of course one of the highlights of the deck. Right, that's it. And finally, well, I guess after 2 non-trophy runs, I got another trophy run, so I can keep having very good results in this draft format. At least so far. Hopefully my luck remains the same. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next event. Bye bye.